Call the meeting to order. Clerk Slater, please call the roll.
Trustee Rizzi.
Here.
Trustee Nordhook.
Here.
Supervisor Lesbrunz.
Here.
Treasurer Correspondence.
Here.
Trustee Norddyke.
Here.
Trustee Shipley.
Present.
Clerk Slater present.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion or discussion for approval of tonight's agenda?
Quickly makes a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
It's a motion by trustee Shipley, supported by trustee Rizzi to approve the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Having no presentations this evening, now is the time for public comments on anything on tonight's agenda, which is just the one item about the tax rate request for 2025. Anyone in person? Nick? Anyone online? Article 6, is there a motion or discussion for approval of the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Shipley. Go ahead.
Support. So motion by trustee Rizzi, supported by treasurer Correspondence to approve the consent agenda as is. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Financial actions, specifically invoices scheduled to be paid on the 12th. Motion or discussion?
Madam Supervisor, if I could jump in at one moment, there are 2 check runs on this agenda because we missed a meeting at the end of May. In the packet, it is identified in the top left corner as a May 29th check run.
Thank you.
And then we also have the check run from this evening.
May 29th and then June 12th.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial actions.
Support the motion.
The motion by treasurer Correspondence, supported by trustee Shipley to approve tonight's financial actions, both for the 29th of May and June 12th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Having no unfinished business, first item of new business 036-2025. Manager Smith?
I'm going to defer to our finance director.
Okay, thanks for coming tonight, Lorna.
No, thank you for having me. Good evening again, board. Before you is an annual item. It is an adoption of the L 4029. Every taxing unit that is authorized or legally can levy millages must complete this form by September 30th. Most of these forms are completed in the first part of June to make the July 1st tax bills. Because we're a township, our levies do not happen until the December tax bill. But this is the time that units adopt these. One item is the third line on the actual spreadsheet is the extra voted fire millage that on the far right side has a 0. And that is the millage that the board said they would not levy if the voters approved the new fire millage. So there you go. That's proof that we're transparent, and it would be perfectly valid not even to list this levy on the sheet. I thought it was important that it all be shown. And one last item, this says prepared by a Megan Van Hoos. She's the equalization director of Kent County, and the county starts out preparing these forms for all units as a courtesy. And because their department started the work, I thought we'd leave her name on. This form is filed with the township clerk as a legality, and also the county board of commissioners. It does not go farther than that.
So I have a question. The very form that Grace and I signed tonight, once it's
Yes.
passed? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I just want to thank you for putting the fire millage that we are not collecting on here and putting that in your report as well. I think it is important. Just to try to clean fire millages, and we wanted to try to clean them up so that we wanted some changes and cost of living, I guess, changes that we had to do for the fire department to make sure that we could keep them running smoothly and efficiently. But I think it's really important for the public to see that that is listed on there, but we're not collecting it.
Additional discussion or questions?
I'll just add something. It's not about the actual form tonight, but if you notice on the far right, we have quite a few millages that are expiring December 31st of 2027. So we'll be doing Laura and I will be looking at some projections and then obviously having a couple work sessions with the board probably after this budget, the 2026 budget is approved later this year, to strategize and look at those millages and talk about renewal and what that looks like if that's the desire of the board. So we're aware of the date and have it as a priority to make sure we can talk about.
With that, any further discussion? Or is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the L 4029 2025 tax rate request.
It's a motion by trustee Shipley, supported by treasurer Kirstange, to approve the L 4029 2025 tax rate as proposed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Lorna.
Thank you.
Having no discussion items, Article 11, public comments. We welcome the public to comment on anything, whether it has to do with tonight's meeting or not. Welcome.
Feel like
I know.
somebody needs to speak.
Thank you.
Nick Katsarelis, 2985 Berwick. I'd just like to say, I really like the way the bridge is coming along. The decorative fences look really good. I've noticed that people are walking on both sides of the bridge when the workers are not there. So I'm excited about the final project, which I'm thinking should be the next few days. I don't know. Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
except then the road commission is taking the opportunity of the construction time to also redo the road surface of the bridge, so that extends it a little bit longer, but
Okay, well, that's great.
better than doing it later.
And then we have 28th Street to deal with.
Mhm.
It'll be good when it's done.
Is that a patchwork or is that?
Yeah, I was
No?
gonna go over it in my comments, but it's a mill resurface. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone virtually?
No. There's someone, but no comment.
Manager Smith, Article 12.
Okay, I've got a few things tonight, take advantage of our short to go over some things that will be of interest to the board and the public. Everyone keeps asking about the Tuffy and Tassel site. The RFQ for the final design and engineering is on the streets. It's due back on Monday, the 16th. So from there, we'll see what qualified bidders we get and set up an interview schedule to look and interview the firms and come back to the board with a recommendation and the DDA with a recommendation to move that forward with the final design in hopes of everything moving along smoothly. We could get shovels in the ground, hopefully in early 2026, but at least have the plan and the design moving pretty quickly. I'm super happy to announce that we have hired a DDA manager. It's been posted since January, and I think we got a really good candidate. He actually was a previous city manager, community development director, and a planning. He has a degree in planning. He just moved here from Colorado, but I think he's going to be a welcome addition to the community. So I'm really looking forward to him getting started on June 23rd.
His experience with us, so he knows
he does have experience with us. He came to us kind of in a really interesting way. So he was working for a consultant that was with the township, but he had expressed interest in this position prior to, but after some communication, it made sense for him to make that jump. So
It's nice that he knows the township needs
Yeah.
a good fit.
Yep. So, and loves everything that the township is moving towards, especially in the DDA area, but as a whole, with the zoning updates and everything the township has in their strategic plan. So very excited about that. Speaking of zoning updates, we're moving forward with that. We had a marathon meeting yesterday. We put together a schedule that we are hoping, I say hoping, but we're gonna really try hard to make this work, that it'll be before you as a board for the first reading, the end of July, with adoption in August. So with that, the draft form will be sent out to you probably within 2 weeks so that you can take a look at that and have plenty of time to look at it, ask questions, make comments. And we can make changes up until that final adoption, which would be that first meeting in August. And I don't remember the date, but so we have some time, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I will be very, very happy to have this project. It was the master plan, now this, so we'll be well on our way to move forward. Excuse me. Speaking of some meetings coming up, we just finished the audit. We're going to get the audit presentations scheduled to come present to you as a board from our auditor. We're hoping that is going to be at the next meeting. And then after that, we jump right into the CIP and the budget for 2026. So we have some schedules, some meetings that we will be asking for some work sessions prior to our regular scheduled board meetings to discuss the CIP and then also the budget after that. So we look to have the budget adopted by the end of September, which is exactly when we should have it. We have 1 full quarter then to make sure that we're prepared for the following year, which has been a goal of mine since I got here. 28th Street. 28th Street is under construction starting on Monday. It's going to be a complete mill and fill from Patterson all the way to Cascade Road. So they are starting on the 16th and are slated to be done on the 27th. They understand that we have a parade the next week. So the road commission has been told, like, we have to be ready for the Independence Day parade. All traffic will be maintained in both directions, although you'll see some lane closures and some lane shifts, but the county does a pretty good job with that stuff and we're in constant contact with them. So if something comes up, please, or if you hear anything, let me know, let Eric know so that we can get with the road commission. And yes, the fencing is going up on the bridge. They did one side, they'll now be doing the other side. And the one thing that is missing now is the lighting, but I did confirm that that's the last thing to go in, but it's going in. And then we'll work on what we do with flower pots and decorative type things for the fence and flag poles for seasonal decorations and flags and things like that. So real happy with how that progress is, that project's moving along.
Solicitors.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
How could I forget that?
I don't want to steal your thunder. but-
No, I mean, you can talk about it if you'd like, but.
No.
So we've been having a lot of concerned residents calling and visiting the admin building in regards to solicitors. And if they should even be in the township, they're coming late at night, like after 9 o'clock to some people's homes. And it's been a pretty big struggle. I don't remember this last year, but again, that would have been my first season here, first year, so I don't recall. But our neighbor Ada is also having the same issue. I know Sue's talked to their clerk and Jessica in my office has been working with them as well. They're putting together a pretty tight ordinance that is going to address some more thorough background checks and a do not knock list. So they're incorporating a lot of things into their ordinance, which I've talked to staff and we absolutely can manage. And I think it would be important. I think it's important that we actually match what Ada's doing because there's a lot of overlap. And so we have that. We have taken and redlined our current ordinance, sent it off to the attorneys to review. So my goal is to have the introduction of a new solicitor ordinance before you at the next board meeting to consider. So, but it's pretty Loctite. So right now we do background checks that are just through the state of Michigan. We are finding a lot of the solicitors, when they come in to fill out their applications to get the permit, they're from out of state. Our background check doesn't cover that right now. So this is going to be a much more in-depth background check. So a lot of solicitors from Colorado for some reason.
And they bear the cost to do that, right?
No, on the background check? Oh, yes, 100%. Yes. Yep, for sure. And just something else of note, we had a few meetings back, we had a resident concerned about graffiti on some of the overpasses. We did work with the sheriff's office. They were all on either county right-of-ways or MDOT right-of-way bridges, but the sheriff's office did follow our crews and we did get all of those painted. Graffiti is kind of a weekly thing now that we're tackling. So Dan's put together a schedule to make sure that we're always monitoring for that and getting it taken care of as quickly as possible. And then also taking a picture, sending it to the sheriff's office so they can look for patterns. Because graffiti tends to be, you can usually identify who's doing it and they don't tend to stop. So we're working really closely with the sheriff's office on that too. So lots of things going on. Those are just the highlights.
Board comments, trustee Shipley?
Thanks for persevering and coming out to the meeting. We appreciate you. And thank you for the positive comments on the bridge. And our concern, of course, was up on the other side of the river and the kids coming down. And looks like it'll pay off. It's a nice addition. That's all I have.
Trustee Nordike?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. I'll echo what trustee Shipley did. Thank you, Nick, for being in the audience and being constantly showing up. I think the citizen engagement's awesome. So thank you. I'm very excited about the DDA hire. His background is really exciting to me. And so well done, Jade and team, for getting him on board. And I'm just excited about what comes. I want to recognize 3 members of our board that have been working tirelessly at the zoning. I wish there were more members of the public here to hear that. I know how hard the 3 of you have worked. So thank you, Wendy, Grace, and Scott, for that. You're achieving some really cool stuff, and I think it will really benefit our township. And then the solicitor thing, Jade, you were so ahead of the ball. Sorry, Manager Smith and team. Just well done. So thank you.
Trustee Rizzi?
I just had a question. If you have any communication with DTE at all, but I know the bike path by Whispering Ridge has been torn up for a few months now, I think, and it would appear that maybe they forgot to fix that because they pulled up stakes and left and it's still gravel there. So I've had a couple residents mention to me they'd like to see that get repaired
Yeah.
at some point.
On my little list too, but Eric has been on leave, so I was gonna wait
Yeah.
till Monday to have.
Did we determine that actually was DTE?
It was.
On the west side.
Okay,
Was DTE, and the ADA section of the
Right.
concrete portion of the path has been
okay,
moved. So it's gravel,
okay.
and then they
I'll get
still
with-
have
yeah.
weird stakes out in gravel. And I know you had mentioned that they have 2 crews.
Mhm.
have the
They do. They
construction
have,
crew that
then they have the
fixes things,
restoration crew,
and
right?
then
right.
restoration, so it would just be nice to know that we're on the restoration list.
Yeah.
It looks like they did the lawn restoration everywhere, but not the cement. Okay. Cause I know there was a spot down a ways that they.
Not Eric's back on Monday and I will get with him to see what that status is.
It appears they could use a little bump.
Yeah, yep, for sure. Thank you.
Clerk Slater?
Yeah, I have a comment. I just wanted to let you all know that the election commission did meet this evening and we are going to be combining precincts
Oh.
from 10 down into 5. Recent legislation has allowed 4,999 voters per precinct instead of 2,999. And Jennifer, deputy clerk, and Jan, election specialist, have determined that our early voting and our absentee voting and our election day voting are fairly evenly split a third to each, and early voting is drawing more people away. So we feel that with this consolidation of precincts, we'll be able to manage that. And so we have drawn a new map. I've drawn a new map. It's really fun. And every voter will be getting a new card. Some of the voting locations are the same. Some of the precinct numbers are the same, but many of them are not. So, and I'm going to try to put something in one of the upcoming newsletters when we roll this out so that everyone's aware. But everyone will get a new voter card to their address. So all the public will know. But I just wanted to let you all know that that's happening.
Thank you. Treasurer Corsange?
Just a couple things. One, I just want to thank Jade and Eric. We talked about the Thornapple River Bridge project. After our last meeting, I think it was the next day, I waited over 20 minutes in line up the hill from Cascade to try to get through that light because the lights were cut so short. Reached out to them and they reached out to the County Road Commission to get their lights changed so that the through traffic through Cascade Road could get through in a more efficient manner instead of having to sit so long. So thank you, and Eric as well. The other thing was the zoning subcommittee. Just as a member of the committee, I think it's super exciting. I think everything that we're working towards and hoping to implement will really be an asset to the community and a lot of positive change. And also, again, allow for positive changes, but also limit some growth in some areas and restrict some things that we don't want to see that maybe have been happening in recent years or the last 10 years or so. So I think, I appreciate you recognizing us, but I also think it's exciting to be a part of the committee and being part of that change and knowing that this is something so great for the community and something the community really wants based on the strategic plan. And then the last thing I have is the concert tomorrow night at
Oh, I completely
Friendship
forgot.
Park. So Friendship Park tomorrow night. We haven't yet, since we have a new DDA director, which is exciting. We will in the future, make sure that we collaborate with local restaurants and hopefully the board will see what kind of district is it called?
Oh, a social district. Yeah, that's kind
long-term.
of separate, but long-term, but
So
yes.
I'm just want to put it out there again. I mentioned it a couple meetings ago. Long-term, the goal with these concerts is to support our local restaurants and businesses. So long-term, we will be hopefully seeing a social district that will hopefully run from Cascade Roadhouse up Old 28th Street, hopefully down to Thornapple River or Thornapple Brewing, all the restaurants in between, where it would be nice where people can park somewhere, get their food to go, potentially an alcoholic beverage if you would choose to do, and go to the park. And we would be supporting those businesses. And I think I'm speaking on behalf of the board, but I think that's our goal with doing something like this and supporting it, is to support our local businesses, especially the restaurants that we all desperately want more of within our community. So that's it. That will come, but
Yes.
our first concert's tomorrow. Super exciting. Hope to see everyone there.
Can I say one more thing that I completely forgot? And actually it was trustee Nordick's idea. It will be implemented in regards to the solicitors. We're going to actually dedicate a website, page on our website that residents can go to and yourself can go to and actually see who has a permitted solicitor permit right now. Jessica's building that webpage. It should be up by the end of the week and we'll have them listed.
Nice.
That way we can, and we'll put that in the newsletter, get the word out that if people are getting them, they can go to that page. And then also if they're getting one that's not permitted, there's going to be a link that will actually, they can put in the information of the person who was at their door and it's going to go right to our zoning ordinance or to our ordinance officer.
Good.
Nice.
So we have, that was
And
trustee's idea.
future use, we'll be able to opt out at some point, right?
Yes, that's part of the ordinance amendment. That'll come before you. Yep.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
So hopefully the whole township just opt out. Unless you opt
Just
in.
anyway.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate Treasurer Corstange, Trustee Rizzi, and then we've got Planning Commissioner Chair Alan Rowland have just been working really, really hard on that zoning update along with staff and McKenna, the consultant. So thanks, and really exciting. And I think that's going to make such a huge difference that we'll kind of implement and put in place all the stuff that we've been talking about and working at to kind of get our vision in place and legally enforceable. So appreciate that. And then, the next meeting, is it here or is it going to be at the fire stations?
So everything is here until July 27th. So it's really the month of August.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, and I don't know where that, maybe I misspoke one night, but it's actually for that month of.
No, you didn't.
It's on us.
In my mind.
I think the last meeting in July
June
will
and July
be
in my
here.
mind.
So then it'll be August, that'll be over there.
Okay, perfect.
Can we change that from opt out to opt in?
Yeah.
Let the people that want these idiots at their.
Question for
Yeah.
Eagle.
Yeah, and leave the rest of us out of it. until we want it.
I can ask.
Ask.
I will, Mike has the draft right now, so I will talk to him about that.
Thank you.
Any additional comments, questions?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
It's a motion by Clerk Slater, supported by Trustee Shipley to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.